It's 3 o'clock. Deputy Chief, would you mind to do our invocation?
If everybody would bow with me, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, Lord, and we thank you for this time of fellowship, Lord. We ask that you guide us and conduct our business because it is your business, Lord, as we do it as you see fit, Lord. We just ask for your will and your purpose and your love upon this meeting and upon this nation, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, roll call, Shelley.
Denise Taylor.
Here.
Joe Deere.
Aye.
Keith Austin.
Here.
Harvey Buzzard. Joe Bird.
Aye.
Julia Tubbs. Sean Crittenden.
Aye.
Mike Dobbins.
Here.
Shannon Dudkin.
Aye.
Rex Jordan.
Here.
Darrell Legg.
Here.
Wes Snowfire.
Aye.
Laura Petskowski.
Here.
Mike Shambaugh.
Here.
Mary Bakershaw.
Ani.
E.O. Smith.
Here.
Victoria Vasquez.
Ani.
We have a quorum.
Okay, you all have a copy of the December 17th minutes. I would entertain a motion for their approval.
Motion.
Got a motion and a second to approve the December 17 minutes. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Okay, brings us down to our reports, and you'll notice we have a packed house. It's because it's January, and that's when Mr. Bilby joins us to do his rundown on what's going on in diversified business. So I'll have him and Chuck Garrity both come forward. Let Chuck go ahead and brief us on his report and what's going on, and then Mr. Bilby will update us on the diversified portion.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for allowing us to be here today, and I'll report just briefly on the financial performance for November, and Stephen can tackle the latest events over at our diversified efforts and federal contracting business. November was an excellent month for us on a top line basis, exceeded our budget by 6% and outpaced last year's November by 14%. Through November, our year-to-date revenue closed at 1% ahead of our budgeted revenue and 12% over that same period during FY19. Net income for November came in 3% over our budgeted level, but fell short of last year by almost 16%. On a year-to-date basis, our net income is 2% under our budget and 9% under the same period in FY19. And I just want to put those numbers in context for us because obviously the top line in our business is doing well. We're generating revenue. We're selling our products, selling our services to the federal government and to our gaming customers. What we're seeing right now is the impact of our expenditures on United for Oklahoma. Almost $2.5 million coming home to roost in our effort with the Chickasaw and Choctaw nations to spread the word and educate the public. So that's something we felt like we needed to do and an investment that we've made. Additionally, we, as you know, are in hot pursuit of our license in Arkansas and have some unusual or extraordinary expenses related to that. So lastly, we did make an investment, thanks to you all and the collective effort of investing in minimum wage increase. So all of those things kind of come together on the bottom line. No need to panic. I think the ship is pointed in the right direction, and as I said, the top line's very strong. We'll just tighten down a few things and hopefully get this compact situation dealt with and secure our license in Arkansas and move forward very strongly. So that is the financial overview. Be happy to answer any questions about that or update on any other areas that you're interested in.
Have any questions for Chuck? If not, we'll go ahead and segue into Mr. Bilby's portion of this. But I do want to say that one of the things that Chuck has been hearing in Arkansas is one of the reasons they prefer us is we're not just a gaming operation. We have showed them the same things that Stephen's going to get ready to show this group here, and they see us as a whole partner, and that worked to our benefit. So I want to applaud the diversified sector for adding that piece to the story we have to give.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Go.
Get away? All right. Very good. Thank you all. I'm always honored to come and represent our team on the diversified side and get to present to you and show you some of the great things that we have going on and our progress as it relates to diversifying the revenue stream of C&B. I'm going to do my best to drive this and talk all at the same time. So again, just want to follow the same approach that I have the last couple of times that I've been here and just give you an overview of our structure. We have 5 main revenue or streams of business. The first is construction, consulting, engineering and manufacturing, health, and information and technology. And as I always do, I like to give you an example at the end of each of the types of work that these different groups perform for the federal government. Got a lot of exciting things going on and happy to share that with you guys. All right, my driving and my...
Is one of those IT?
Yeah.
we lost
Shutting down that department.
We lost the presentation. Well, I'll continue to go, and then if that catches up, because there's a couple just facts that I want to give you. We have over 3,000 employees in diversified businesses, spread out over 50 states at this point in time, and we're in 26 countries. It's coming back here. He's helping me catch up. Let's see if we can get to it. So we're in 50 states and 26 different countries around the world at this point in time. And we're in 2 U.S. territories, Guam and Puerto Rico. So we continue to expand our footprint. And the way I always look at this is how we're monetizing that and bringing back those dividend dollars back into the tribe. And so when I look at that global map that we have, not only are we supporting our warfighters and doing a great service to the federal government on that front, but I like to bring the focus back to how that drives a dividend back to the nation to provide services for the tribe. Looks like we might be having some technical difficulties. So I'll just keep moving along. Hopefully when we get to the examples, it'll be brought back up. From a revenue perspective, we achieved $510 million in revenue this year. That's up over $90 million from last year. So about $420 million last year, up to $510. Great work by the team. As we look at our business, it's heavily driven by the contract wins that we achieve each and every year. One of the staggering stats that we like to throw out is since 2012, we have secured over $5 billion in federal contracts for the Cherokee Nation. So that's a fantastic number. And again, usually when we win a contract, let's say it's a $100 million contract, typically that will be spread over 4 to 5 years. So $20 to $25 million a year in revenue for that specific contract. So that's how our business works. When you look at 2017, we did just north of $1 billion in contract wins. Took a little bit of a step back, and some of this just goes with the procurement cycle of the federal government, but a little over $800 million won in 2018, and then we won $975 million in 2019. So the team continues to perform at a high level. When I look at our growth rate compared to our competitors, you have to remember the federal market, the budget, discretionary budget, is growing at about 5% year over year. Our performance is typically 15 to 20%. So we're growing significantly faster than the market. And when I look at our competition, whether it's lower 48 tribes or the large Alaskan Native corporations, we are simply growing faster than they are. So the team continues to execute and take market share away from our competition. I'm going to try to click this real quick and see if we can. Okay, now we're good. All right. So this just, I'll go back because these are good charts. This is basically our growth pattern since 2010. So you see phenomenal growth there. Same perspective from a contract wins, and that rounds out to the $5 billion I mentioned. So going back again, the goal of diversification was that we would achieve 50% of our total revenue for C&B. 50% of that would be outside of gaming. I'm happy to report today that 42% of our revenue at C&B comes from the federal side of our business, and that number continues to grow quickly. Thank goodness we've got a great gaming business, so I always say we're chasing a fast horse, which is good for all of us, but we continue to gain ground, and ultimately I see us achieving that 50-50 goal. From an EBITDA perspective, same view. We're at about 20% now of total EBITDA for C&B. So here's the exciting parts. I love to talk about the work that we do. I had the great honor 2 weeks ago to travel with our team to Mexico City to view firsthand the work that we have performed there at the Mexico City airport. In the international terminals, there's 9 checkpoints. Our team implemented the advanced imaging technology that's now used there in the Mexico City airport. It's the first international airport outside of the U.S. to fully meet the TSA standards. So when we went down there, the U.S. ambassador to Mexico joined us at this kickoff celebration along with our Mexican partners, as well as TSA, Transportation Security, and Border Protection Services, Customs and Border Protection. And so it was a great team, great effort. It was really the first time where we dealt directly with a foreign government, their operations, as well as the State Department, TSA, and Customs and Border. So our team had to do a lot of work on the ground to get the technology implemented, but they also had to work a lot of the cultural and political elements that were at play there on the ground in Mexico City. Did a fantastic job. The team has moved on now to the Cozumel airport. They'll be implementing the same security. That airport is significantly smaller than Mexico City, so it won't take near as long. There are, after Cozumel and Mexico City, there are 6 other airports in Mexico. We're focused on all the international airports in Mexico. There are 6 others that are on the current contract that we have. There are 38 total, and so we continue to look to expand that to all 38. But this is an effort, whether it's narcotics, whether it's individuals coming into the U.S. that should not be coming in. This is an attempt to stop all of those threats at the point of entry versus once they reach the U.S. border. And so the team did a fantastic job, an exciting project. If you have questions about any of these, feel free to stop me at any point in time. The next one is in our engineering and manufacturing business. We call it the LAO project. Basically, LAO is the Raytheon missile system that goes on to the F-15 fighter that you see here. And basically, we are fabricating and building in Pryor the release harness mechanism. There's 12 different components to this release harness. We actually build 9 of those in Pryor. We fabricate those there in Pryor, and then 3 of those we outsource. So it's a great project. Currently, the screen says 24/7 machining. We're actually machining 20 hours a day, 7 days a week at this point in time in Pryor. So we invested in it in a couple of machines, and our team is executing. We're creating thousands of these over the course of this project. So exciting work in support of the Navy there. The next is what we call U.S. SOCOM, Special Operations Command. We have experts in the field with Special Forces that are educating, training, designing out the use of unmanned systems in the field. So whether that's in theater or outside of theater, We have the experts on the ground with those special forces teams to teach them how to better use these types of tools in the field. As always, when we talk about our troops and supporting the warfighter, that's something that we're very passionate about. And so how we use these types of unmanned systems to keep them from harm's way and defeat the enemy is critical. And so we're very proud of the work that we do with SOCOM. The next is the military health. This is in our health group, obviously. There's a rollout of the Cerner system that's going on inside of the DoD. It's the same Cerner system that we use in our health facilities. We really perform two parts as the Cerner system is rolled out. We go in and make sure that the data conversion is appropriate within the system and that the appointments that the patients have set up and all the data that is appropriate and that needs to be in the system is there and ready for the launch. The other part that we provide is 90 days prior to that launch. We roll in what's called mobile training kits. We roll in and train the users on the use of the Cerner system to make sure that when they actually go live, obviously within a hospital in a military medical facility environment, you can't have a week or two where there's no operations. You have to immediately go live and be prepared. So we're the team on the ground ensuring that cutover is a success. The last project is inside our construction group, Many Farms, Arizona. It's in the northeast corner of Arizona. I'm sure none of you have probably ever been there. I have not. Basically doing some stabilization of some buildings there on the ground. We have established a great relationship with the BIA, predominantly the BIE on the education side. So this is rehabbing and helping some of the school buildings that they have there at the Many Farms BIE school there in Many Farms, Arizona. The second one there is just as it says, it's simply a water line for Fort Wingate. Fort Wingate is just east of Gallup, New Mexico, on the north side of I-40. So as you look across all these projects, our team, we do a wide, diverse set of services, but we are always proud to represent who we are, the Cherokee Nation, and uphold the commitments that we have and make sure that we operate and perform at not only the highest level of success, but the highest level of integrity. And I think I've told you guys before, but the honor that we take is where we get to go out and wear the Cherokee Star and get to educate others about what it is to be Cherokee, what is the Cherokee Nation. Some people just simply don't know. And so it's a great opportunity for us to educate them. And so we take it seriously, and we're proud of the opportunity that you guys have given us. That's all I've got. I'm happy to answer any questions for you guys.
You got any questions? Go ahead.
Chief Baker used to sometimes discuss at large meetings that we have in Iraq. Do we still?
We do. We have an office in Iraq, and we have folks in Baghdad. We have obviously with the recent events, there's been some evacuations. We still have, because many of our folks are critical to the ongoing operations there. We still support the compound, the embassy there in Baghdad.
So, but do we have any American citizens in that office?
There are American citizens. There are local citizens as well that work for us, but we do have and you know the I won't call it funny, but the team was in. Some of the team was in actually this week, the beginning of this week. Our program manager, our deputy program manager, they were evacuated a few weeks back when all of this began. And I can tell you the thing I asked them a couple questions. One of my questions was, what can I do for you, and how can we better support the team on the ground? And there were 3 individuals in the room, and I went person by person and asked them, I said, what can I do for you? And each one of them said, get me back. They want to go back. They want to support the mission there. Their team is still there. they have an objective and they're focused on meeting that objective. And so it kind of puts us back in our seat, right, where we think, we would probably want to get out. They're wanting to go back in to support the mission. And so, that is the commitment level that our servicemen and women have. And so we're happy to be a small part of that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Counselor Crittenden?
Yeah, Mr. Bill, you mentioned the prior plant. Now, what exactly was you saying about they're working on some sort of aircraft missile part of it?
Yeah, so there's a release system that if I can get back to it without completely, it's not going to let me. The release system that actually attaches the armament to the underside of the wing, there's a release system that actually drops the missile. So that release system is what we're fabricating and building. It's part of the Raytheon's missile system, and we do that work for
The
them.
20-hour thing.
So, yeah, the machining that's going on and the fabrication of that, creating those parts, we're working 20 hours a day, 7 days a week at this point to keep up with the operations. It's spread out over 2 shifts.
Hey, that's sound like job security.
Absolutely.
Now I know in my neck of the woods, there's sometimes a little lull.
Sure.
And so, are we looking for something eventually to mesh that workload together? Where prior sounds like they're cutting a fat hog. In Adair County, there's kind of a lull. Are we trying to?
Yeah, if you go back to the beginning of last year, it was flipped, right? And with manufacturing, you have ebbs and flows of customer demands, and so we're constantly trying to smooth that out. We have a business development team that is gone. I mean, Chris is in Huntsville today, with working to create opportunities to bring back to Stillwell as well as Pryor.
Let me ask you this one more thing. Now, every now and then we'll discuss like the alternative medicine, the subject that a lot of people are talking about, and in your positions, looking at business ventures, you guys have to be very interested and chomping at the bit, like they used to say, about the possibilities of the business side of that. Are you keeping your thumb on that, if you know what I'm talking about?
And I'll just take a shot at that. Of course, the nation has, the chief has just issued a revised policy, with respect to THC testing. We're reviewing our policy as well, and we try to communicate that to our employees because it's, it became a topic, as you expect. And because you're exactly right, Councilman, I mean, you have a couple of distinctions where we have to be quite careful. One thing on the federal side, they haven't embraced, medical marijuana as the state has. So we have some very bright lines that we cannot cross without jeopardizing some of the federal contracting business that we do. So that's just with respect to employee policy and drug testing. On the gaming side and the corporate shared service side, we have some safety-sensitive positions. If you have a gun, you're a valet, we've got some things that we're working through to better understand what the industry's doing there. So we're trying to figure that out. It'll be a little bit more nuanced than I think the policy here at the nation. With respect to the business opportunity, which is very interesting, again, without jeopardizing our federal contracting opportunities. And the chief just appointed a committee or study group to look at some of the opportunities there. But take hemp, for example. The CBD market is strong. I know there's some interesting economic development opportunities where perhaps, there's an opportunity to sponsor sort of farmers co-op type thing where individual growers could bring, So there's some models I know they're going to be looking at. It's a really talented group of people that they've assembled. We have some representatives from the business side there that I have a lot of confidence in. And yeah, I mean, you know.
It's gotta be exciting,
It
the
is.
possibilities,
It
right?
is.
Not-
It is. I mean,
nobody's
it's a new
laid
wave
their-
of things. That
Right.
wasn't
Nobody's
around
laid
a
their-
year ago or 2 years ago. You know,
We didn't lay our whole card out, you didn't either, but it's gotta,
You gotta
it's gotta
study.
be exciting.
You gotta get smart
The
about it.
possibilities, right? I mean, I can imagine it would be in a business setting, right, Mr. Bilby?
Yeah, I think there's opportunity. Like I think Chuck's saying, I think there's always evaluation that has to take place, and how that overlays with our other businesses.
Yeah. You'd be a good poker player too. Thank you.
Are there any other questions for either one of these gentlemen?
Good report.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank
you.
you very much.
Appreciate what you do for us.
Is this your staff here?
Diane's staff.
And staff.
Bodyguards. Appreciate you guys being here. Okay, that brings us down to Trey's report. And I like the new graphics.
Yes, thank you.
I don't know who came up with that, but
Well, it was a bit
Much-
of a team effort, and I can tell you guys why the report looks different this month. And that's because I was, I've been there a while now, few months. Seems like just a few short days, but I was looking at the reports that we used to submit, and I know how hard my team works. I mean, they are back there just working, night and day to get things done. And I felt that the previous report didn't highlight that enough, so I wanted to give you guys just a few more stats that really show what all they're cranking out back there, because they work very hard and they deserve all the credit and praise in the world. So you can see those numbers in there. Those are just, and there's a lot of other matrix that I could have put in there, but I thought those are just some that kind of highlight each area. And so, as you can see, if you have any more specific questions or want to see anything else, let me know and I can work on that for you guys. But yeah, and most of my staff is here and they work really hard, so that's for them.
so does anybody have any questions for Trey, or do you
Yep.
have anything in particular you want to tell us?
No, we were working hard. W-2's got to be postmarked tomorrow, and we're doing over 5,000 of them. So
Busy.
everybody's got their nose to the grind over there. So, but if anyone has any questions,
Hey, go ahead, Joe.
On here, on your departmental goals, it says audit. Is that an internal or external?
the external, the one that BKD is doing.
Okay.
So we just did our final close not long ago, but FY19 has had its final close, and the auditors are now on site. So we are in full swing. BKD is our auditors, and they're on site over there and
Okay.
in full swing.
Good.
Just had a question on, I know last month we talked a little bit about the minimum wage increase and kind of how all that worked out. I know we had, I think it's in their job description on what an employee's ceiling is and what they can max out on.
Yeah.
And that's what we're discussing about. The thing is that some of them are the minimum wage with that increase staggering up. Since the people that had been here 10, 15 years that had already been in that ceiling cap, you've got people that were hired just within this past year making the same amount now because of their ceiling. Is there anything that's going to be, if that's true, is there anything that's going to be adjusted for those employees who are at their ceiling that are now, that's been with us for years, but because they're at their ceiling, they have new employees that's making just as much as they do, and there's no incentive for them working for us for that time?
Yeah. So we did try to address that when we were doing all the calculations. So there was kind of like a stair-step matrix for the wage increase. Obviously, the folks who got the largest percentage increase were the ones at the very bottom, which was our old minimum wage, and so they got the biggest jump percentage-wise up to the new minimum wage. But we did try to kind of stair-step that out as wages went up to lessen the compression there in the middle of that. People, like you said, the folks have been there a while. But with regards to the min and max on those job descriptions, that's actually a function of HR. So if there's a job that we think maybe the max that's listed on the range is too low. We can always send that to HR and have that job regraded, and they can go out and do a market study, and then.
So is that something you're recommending, or is it something that we got it with? I see Todd's walking up here, our chief of staff, that might have to address the changes on those.
Sorry, I was having a conversation back there, so I walked in a little bit late. So when we did I signed off on every pay scale throughout the Cherokee Nation. And I'm going to blow your mind on the fact that our pay scale system, single sheets, is that deep. I signed every last one of them. And what we did is, when we did the minimum wage, we adjusted all of those pay scales, readjusted and evaluated all those to make sure that the ranges were corrected for the min and the max of those scales as well. And to Treasurer's point, when we did the minimum wage increase and we made this adjustment across the board, a good example I like to give is, yes, even though our minimum wage is $11 an hour, somebody that was making $10.50, just 50 cents shy of that, realistically is making somewhere around the $12.10. And I'm not being exact, but they didn't just go to 11. They were moved across that scale. So we did have a little bit of compression, but instead of compressing everybody like this, we staggered that compression out. So the people that were making less than $11 an hour didn't just go to 11. And that range went all the way from $9.50, and we affected everybody up to $15 an hour, moving them out ahead. So there are employees that come in now, let's say the $11 an hour range. There are people that are coming in that may start out as somebody that was just moved to the $11 an hour in the last 6 months, or maybe the last year, if they made $9.50 or $10.50. But those tenured employees, if you've been here for 20 years, hopefully you've taken those increases to your base salary and allow you to move through the system. So we did try to adjust that so that we were cognizant of that and trying to minimize that as much as possible, of having new employees starting at the same rate that somebody's been here for 10 years.
It was just a concern. I've had a few people call me that said that they.
And one other thing. The market analysis that the treasurer referred to, we actually remarket jobs and pay scales on a regular basis, on a daily, weekly basis, to make sure that we're competitive across the systems. And so we do that, and it's just a ton of employees, but we reevaluate it when the departments request it to see if we're competitive with the market, and if we need to make the adjustments, we do that.
So if I got a few of these phone calls, it might be something to tell them, hey, get with your department, and that way, because there is a lot to it. I mean, by all means, you said the book that thick, so that way I can say, hey, there might be some changes coming, but definitely get with your department, so that way as they're going through these, everything gets
it'll need to be requested. Their department will need to request HR to do that.
Right. Okay. Perfect. Just trying to get that mindset going. Appreciate it. Appreciate you.
Anybody else? Okay. Trey, I did have a couple of things in the financial reports that I want to talk with you about offline.
Okay.
So if you could just stick around.
Will do.
Okay, Diane. You brought some people with you.
Yes, we've been talking about TANF for probably about 2 years, and I told you as soon as we got most of the people on board, I was going to make sure that you knew who they were, because you all had asked a lot of questions about TANF, and we've got somebody in just about every one of our offices except Tulsa. They're coming. They're just not here today. But Brenda Fitzgerald is our TANF director. Brenda's worked for the state. She knows about work incentives. She worked in TANF before, and she oversees it. She was the person that was driving it. Along with her is John Crenton, and he worked for Jeff in our day work program, which is now Tribal Training Services. So John, stand up. I know you're back there somewhere. You can't miss him. But he's one of the drivers. We've been having collaborative meetings with the Creek Nation. We went to NCAI. We've been involved with all of the social services meetings. We passed a resolution at NCAI so that we could get our money. We've been operating since October. We hand-delivered checks October, November, and December. And thanks to our new treasurer and her team, Jody and Jamie Cole and his team, we're now issuing those checks by mail and
Direct deposit
yes,
and rapid card.
yeah. And our caseloads are growing. So I would like to introduce them, and you can look at and see who your person is, Daryl. I think you already know, but some of these other people may not know. Of course, you met John, the finance person who actually was in my shop, Lindsay Williams. Stand up. I think most of y'all know Lindsay. I know Speaker Bird does. I think she works with him on the powwow every year. Then we've got Jennifer Weber, who is our area coordinator for the North, and she used to work in our Veneta office, Victoria, and then now she's in Claremore, and she works the northern counties. And then LaVon Ely, she was in Sallisaw, and she's based out in Muskogee, and she's the southern coordinator. And then we have Mr. Jackie England, who started out with our opioid grant. Now he is the compliance monitor for the South. And then we stole the Derek, where are you at? Derek Meggs from Taro, and he is our northern monitor. And then we've got Miss Desiree Blower. She's our career specialist for our J office.
Hi guys, nice to meet you.
And we've got Michelle Harris, who is our career specialist for Stillwell. Rachel Dale, career specialist for Pryor. Crystal Lofton, Claremore. Ryan Reed, our data management specialist, and he was also a program participant and got recognized this past year. Caleb Ham, career specialist Tahlequah. Brad Sams, career specialist Tahlequah, and I think you all met him out at NCAI.
He's good.
And Chris Kelly, no relation to me, but I know career specialist Muskogee.
Thank you.
And Kelly Little, career specialist Sallisaw. And that pretty well rounds it out. We're still, how many more staff have you got to hire, Brenda?
Probably about 7 more. So we're not full staff yet. So we're going to bring the rest of the group in next time.
But we're just real excited. Everything seems to be going good. Knock on wood. I hope nothing happens tomorrow. But Brenda and John and Lindsay and Ryan have been involved in meetings abroad. We have a data system that we have to implement. It's called
Eagle Sun.
So anyway, a lot of good stuff going on. And if you have any questions about TANF, well, it would be Brenda or Mr. Crinton. Any questions on TANF?
Are we looking at getting staff?
Getting what? No.
Okay, good. Erase that.
We have donated foods.
That's right.
And we're planning on trying to help expand that.
Leah Duncan is working with us. She's putting together some, displays for us that we can put in all of our offices so that when the clients come in, we're going to encourage them to look at doing food distribution. So she's real excited about helping us with that. Okay, Brenda,
Okay, does
thanks
anybody
you.
here have a question?
More questions?
You have anything to say, Brenda?
We have over 600 new people that we're serving. So it's really grown in the last 3 months, and I'm real proud of this staff. And then we had some borrowed staff that we're real proud of too. So thank you for letting us come today. Appreciate that.
Thanks for being here. We appreciate what you do for our people.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thanks.
Well, I just want to tell you that we couldn't do it without the help of the finance office. They've been very supportive of helping us to jumpstart this, and we borrowed our staff and our other programs, and some of them didn't want to work TANF, but they didn't have much choice. You work in our department, you work. We're here to provide services. That's what we do. You received a notepad. I think it's on your desk. Our business technology class that works up at Southgate It's under Jan Grogan and George Roach. They put together a little notepad for you. They were going to give these to you at Christmas, and we couldn't get them printed, so you get them for New Year's.
There you
So
go. Thank you.
she put them on all the desks.
Thank you.
We've got some booklets I told you that I was going to have. Our printer is on the blink, but as soon as it gets off the blink, we'll get you those booklets for the orientation. And I told Dora that I didn't want to have one where maybe the faces were kind of blurry, so I want to make sure it's a good booklet. But I'll make sure everybody gets one, because Joe, you want to see Joe out there working out down there in Vian after he eats some of that good cake. I want to have Hunter come up here. Hunter is our economic development manager, and I put the Cherokee Career Readiness under him. And he actually has been working with me on economic development, actually when he was in special projects, and now he's got some staff under him, and they're rolling out a lot of stuff. I told you that we were going to work on the lineman, health, construction. The lineman is a big project. We didn't realize how big of a project it was going to be. We have a lot of partners, and we also got a phone call through Shane Kirby in the chief's office last week. We spoke with 3 of the representatives from PSO out of Tulsa, and they heard about us looking at the lineman program, so they're wanting to be one of the partners. And we've got some meetings set up with some of the utility departments and some of the co-ops. So it's getting a little bit bigger. We're going to have probably about 20 people in the class per year while they're out doing their training at the co-ops and electricity companies. We'll have our second class starting, and we've had a lot of people calling us, even employees calling and interested in getting involved in our health programs. So we're trying to get a lot of stuff done, and I'll let him tell you just a brief synopsis of what we're doing.
Yeah, for the high voltage lineman training program, we've partnered with OSU, Okmulgee, utilizing their curriculum that they've been doing throughout the state of Oklahoma. Essentially, we are doing 16 weeks of classroom and climbing training and 16 weeks of paid internships, and that's where the partners come in, is we have to have the internship opportunities to place them to where they can get the actual on-the-job, hands-on experience going out, working with the companies and getting the feel of how the job's done. And so that also gives them opportunity as the employers to get a first-hand experience on testing them out if they want to pick them up after they complete the program. We're looking at a roughly 8-month time investment for the 10 students to go through, or 20 students to go through at a time. And the way that's going to work is the first 10 will start, and then once the 10 go to internship, the new 10 will start in the classroom, and they'll rotate until they complete the program. We are taking applications now. Some of the general requirements for this, 18 years or older, you must be able to obtain a CDL Class A. That's one of the most important parts of being a lineman, is to be able to drive the truck and have the CDL license. In order to have a CDL, you must be able to pass the drug screening process, and what we're going to do is once we get the candidates together, we're going to interview them, make sure they're going to be committed for the 8 months to the program, and then we'll make our selections from there. So if you guys have anybody that would be interested, I'll leave you guys with some flyers with some information on the requirements and contact information on who to send the people to. So I'll make sure you all get these today.
We're real excited. We had a meeting day before yesterday over in Muskogee with Tony Pivick, who is the superintendent for Indian Capital. He is taking their heavy equipment classroom down from their campus here in Tahlequah, and they're going to convert that into the classroom. And until we get the classroom set up, they're going to use their mobile lab so we can start the class in February. And we're working with Mike Doublehead and Hammond Vatapor out at Lake Region so that we can get the bucket truck, so we can get the poles set up, so they can do the climbing. We're just real excited about it. This is part of the Cherokee Career Readiness that you all were at prior on, and it's one of the things that we're rolling out. But it's probably going to be one of the areas where we're going to have a lot of people wanting in those classes. Northeast Tech is trying to get one started in August, and we'll probably end up buying some slots there. But this one we have committed to rolling out, and we've got all these different partners, and we've got other people calling us and wanting in on it. So as long as they want to give us some money or give us some slots, we'll take it. But we're excited.
So I have a question. You referenced the associate in applied science degree. You can do the 8-month or you can do the 2-year. Is the 2-year associate, is that still at OSU?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
This is a certificate program, and according to the co-ops and the utility authorities, the certificate program will supply what they want. Although, if they've got some people that want to go and get the certificate, they can. And with PSO, they said that they did not have certificate people, but they did have a few. And they said the degree.
The degree.
The degree. So, we're excited.
And included in this class, they have the opportunity after each class they take, it's included with the classes, they can test out and get the credits for the class that they take.
Okay.
So,
Joe?
Just real quick, the other day, IBEW in Tulsa had that career fair that I posted. The electrical union, they had 102 people show up just in that 2-hour period for that electrician part.
wow.
And I think it reflected off what we had talked about, the lineman stuff, and some guys that went there. So it's obviously a deep need for people, and I've linked up Mr. Crenton and Canaan. They're gonna go and travel to Adair too, to do the exact same thing. So I think that's carrying over, and I can see you getting really busy because of that need, and people, there's a lot of people out there that are ready to go to work and get trained, so. But I think it's a good thing. I think it's going to work. So the IBEW, I actually visited their office the other day, and in their main office, there was 5 guys in the main office, and I think 4 out of 5 were Cherokee.
Wow.
That ran their office. So.
Well, our instructor's already on board. He's been working since January to get everything ready to go, and we're going to roll it out in February.
He's a nice instructor.
Oh, I know he is. He's a very nice man. We're also, we have a planning meeting tomorrow. The chief, back when you all were going through your orientation, I think some of y'all may remember when we went to Veneta, the chief asked for me to stay on and talk to him, and he said he wanted to see us look at doing something with our contractors and our subcontractors, and similar to what we do in the fall with our Tarot vendor fair and our banquet, but on a smaller scale around contractors and subcontractors. And we're having a planning meeting, and we've got all the different entities represented there tomorrow, and we're looking at something in the spring so that we can answer questions and introduce them to some things that may help them as contractors or subcontractors. So we'll be sharing more information with you on that. The chief, this was one of his initiatives, and I think it's a good one because we have a lot of work out there, and I think if we can get more people involved in getting certified to come in and do work for us, we're going to be far better off. So that's our mission. So we're working on that, and it'll be sometime in April. Jeff wanted me to make sure that you understood that we've got summer youth rolling out. Every year he says, just saying, but he's got his flyers. you know that, don't you, Daryl? Summer youth, they're going to start taking applications February the 17th through May the 1st, and it'll start June the 8th and end July the 24th, and we'll have these flyers out to you. Some years we've had it 6 weeks, some weeks it's been 8 weeks. This year it's 7 weeks. We're going in between the two. And they'll start taking applications from 9 to 4 o'clock, giving them an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon. And those will be for people that can't make it in that window. They can set up appointments. And I asked Jeff to look at being open in all of our offices during the month of April on Saturdays from 9 to noon. I don't know that he was too interested, but he said, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. And so we're going to be open in all of our offices from 9 to 12 on Saturdays for those parents that need to come in and sign paperwork for their youth that are 16 and 17-year-olds. And all of the staff are excited. Summer Youth is one of the exciting programs that we offer. Wayfinders. George, Taryn, and Austin worked with Steve Jones and his team, Wayne Caldwell and Brian Hale at Hastings when they were opening the new clinic. For the first 90 days, we had Wayfinders up there. Some of them volunteered just about every other day. We had some work experience people that were up there. We didn't get to do anything for them when a lot of them quit at the end of the calendar year. We're going to have a luncheon for them over at the Katua Room Friday, February 21st, and I think Taryn's got invitations for you all. We're going to recognize some of them that were there every day. It was a good job, and I think that Ginger and Delane and them may have hired about 7 or 8 of those workers as a result of it. So we're excited about recognizing those people. And then I've got 4 people that are going through the NORA leadership program coming up. And then we have a newsletter that Larry Daugherty, who works with Hunter, our funding agency said that we need to be getting information out to our clients about the work that we're doing. So we thought about just doing a newsletter that we would send to our participants. This is not a newsletter we're sending out to everybody, but it'll go out to our participants so that if we have a participant that's working in our program, they can see the other programs that we have going on, and we can spotlight some of our clients. So Larry's been working with Hunter, and they've done this, I think, this is what, 3rd one or 4th one?
4th one.
4th one. And we'll make sure that we get copies of it for you all.
And this is a standard quarterly newsletter that we do throughout the year. So, one thing that we forgot to mention also is right now we've also in the construction area we have customized construction training throughout the 14 counties that we're recruiting for, and also leave a flyer for you guys. It's basically 94 hours of construction training. Carpentry, electrical, masonry, and plumbing. It's kind of an intro to all 4 of those, so that way whenever the contractors need the entry labor workers to come in and work for a company, and when they bid on projects, we have the availability of the laborers out there, or the intro workers that we can work through the Taro office and get them into jobs. So.
Councilor Lake.
Any of your flyers that you make up about this stuff, if you'd give it to Teddy Snell so she could post it on our council site, and then we could share it, that would help.
Can do.
Diane, my hat's off to you, man. It was 3 months ago. This was just an idea, Sean. Just an idea. You did it.
Well, I have to plug this one kid. We had one of our linemen graduate from OST last month from Adair County. He also is former Deputy Chief Joe Crittenden's grandson, Caden Unger. And Caden signed a form allowing us to use his picture and him climbing the pole. And he's now gainfully employed with Ozarks Electric. And he let us take that picture, and we're going to use it for our post. He's our poster child. But he's a Cherokee, and he's from Adair County. So just wanted to share that.
Yeah. Point at me, ma'am.
I did.
Okay.
Grab your name
I
and
was just going to
talk.
comment, one thing is that was neat how that worked out. And, you know, I talked to some of those same folks you were mentioning, and they were passionate about getting those something for linemen. By golly, I know other people brought some stuff, and there it is. So kudos to everybody involved, all the way up to admin and you guys, and that was neat. Like Darryl was saying, it was, can we look at this? And boom. And, you know, I know Joe has some stroke too, but.
Well,
but
it just
was
worked in with it worked right in with the initiative that the chief said that he wanted us to look at with the health, the construction, and Secretary of State and him said, what about linemen? And about that time's when they put that staging area between those 2 counties. And if you drive on Eldon Hillway to Tahlequah, there is a staging area, and there's trucks galore out there, and they're putting all those fiber optics in. And one of the things that the co-op said, as soon as they leave, we don't have anybody that can go out there and do that. We're having to contract to bring people in. So if this lineman program starts, then you'll be able to pull from those graduates.
Well, if they need poles, we got plenty of pine trees up there in jail. I'm gonna get the pine trees cut down. I promise.
Harold, I don't think those poles are made of pine.
They're gonna be.
One more thing, man. Wasn't I still on the deal?
I don't know. I'm
What?
thinking you might be.
Thank you.
I'll defer to you.
The Wayfinder.
Yes.
Now, that didn't go away, did it?
They hired some of the people that were working
To
in
do
the
that same
Wayfinder program.
thing?
Yeah.
Good, because that was a good thing.
And if
So-
they need more help, they can always call us, you know that.
Thank you.
But we're gonna recognize the people that did all that work during that time period.
Something else cool on that lineman deal was they had a hiring freeze at Ozarks, and enough of the guys kind of spoke up for Caden, who is a reflection of us as a participant. And they were like, we got to have this kid. So they lifted a hiring freeze to hire him.
That's awesome.
And now it's back on.
And it's one of the best paying jobs in
Oh,
our
yeah.
area. So that's good.
Well, OST told us that he was one of their top students too, so that made us feel good.
Junior.
So is the lineman class full? Are you still taking applications?
Still taking application, yes. I'll get you a flyer with the information on there too.
And how's the stipend work again? Stipend?
So it's going to be based upon the need of, so essentially it's going to be a Monday through Friday type of training. So they won't be able to work, so we're going to try to provide some assistance throughout the process so they can have maintain their, if they got a family or kids, so they can assist them through that process.
And when they do their internship, they'll be doing so many weeks of internship. When they go to the utility company or to the co-op or the utility company will pay them during that time period because we will have another class coming in that we will be subsidizing as a stipend.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll cut you loose. Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you.
All right, Anna, you've been pacing the floor back there. Come tell us something good. I thought you were one to join, so you climb those poles.
And introduce me as part of our staff. No.
They all live.
We all work.
When you're looking for me, they call her.
Well, you have a copy of my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have about it.
I'm just curious if your appointments for VITA are filling up.
Oh, yes. They fill up quickly.
Okay, go ahead, Kim.
I just want to thank you guys. Every time I send somebody or refer them to you, you guys jump on it and always are helpful. I actually had somebody that I didn't refer to you, but they said they stopped in and a lady named Anna Knight helped me, and she was so wonderful.
I have to say our staff goes above and beyond to try to help everybody that comes to us, whether it's helping them find resources within the Cherokee Nation or within their communities. We like to try to help everybody. They do a good job. Thank you.
Anybody else for Anna? Okay, appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay, that brings us down to our consent items. The tarot certifications are in your book. And
Second.
I got a motion and approval for tarot. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Community assistance. I do have one that I need to add, Jody.
Me too. Yeah.
I need,
I thought you would.
Okay.
I need $1,000 to the Indian Women's Pocahontas Club for the wild onion dinner.
Wild Indian dinner?
Wild onion. The wild Indians are welcome. So come on down.
I have a couple of additions for Counselor Smith. Gore High School baseball, 500. Webbers Falls basketball, 500. Buy-in PTO for 500, and also have one to split with Counselor Duncan and Counselor Crittenden, $1,500 split for Adair County Spring Livestock Show. And Gail wanted me to mention on the report there was one that was for Claremore Public Schools that was under Counselor Deere. It should be under Counselor Alston.
Dang, I was
So,
hoping you weren't catching
yeah.
that. Tried to.
Okay, Ana.
Got one more, Jody. 500 to Greasy Fire Department.
I like that.
Okay.
Jody, I would like to donate $500 as well to the Indian Women's Pocahontas Club for the onion dinner.
500, okay.
500.
Let's just do that here too.
Oh, yeah.
Keith wants to get in on that.
Yeah.
Man, you don't have salt, man.
500.
Golly.
We good.
Keith, 500.
That's it. Just wait your turn.
Okay.
Counselor Shaw.
I'm sorry, I had to step out of the room. I had 2 bowls of chili, my stomach was just killing me. But bottom line,
I don't need to know all
I
that.
just needed you guys came anyway.
That's all right. Go ahead, Mary.
It does. I just have a question on these tarot applications. Are they renewed, or somebody fill them out each time we vote on them? Do they just continually send them? Is it the same one over and over and over? Are they updated?
No. These are all, they're broken down into a couple of different things. New businesses, gonna be your first time they've ever been tarot. And then it goes into your renewals. And each year, when they renew, they don't have to re-qualify, but they have to sign. Ownership hasn't changed, just the things that qualified them to be tarot still have to be in place in order to renew.
So if we find one that we have a question about, what do we do?
Call Deborah Lack.
Okay.
Or email her.
Thank you.
For instance, I had one a few years ago that I knew the people involved. I knew that business had sold, and they were on the renewal. And so I called and said, check it out. Be sure the new owners are Cherokee. So anytime you have a question, reach out, preferably ahead of the meeting so that it doesn't hold up the whole
Thank you.
match.
I didn't mean to hold it up.
No, that's fine. Okay, Daryl, did you have something to add to that, or did I do all right?
That's good.
Okay. Counselor Deere?
Are you good?
I'm getting heartburn.
Are you good? I
much chili
just
did
did
you
want to
eat?
mention that when Gail said we were going to have chili today, I did make the recommendation that we buy some roll 8. They came back with a bottle
There's a
about
big
this
bottle
big.
I opened it, yeah. She needed them. My stomach was burning.
Jody, I got 1,500. Me and Mr. Counselor Austin are going to split that. That's for Rogers State University. Since you wanted me to pay for the other, I'm just going to put it all on his.
It's on video, it's now live.
It'll be recorded.
My stomach was burning.
And I agree to.
Okay.
We're not done.
500 Mid-County Community Building. What's the official name of that place? Yes, Mid-County Community. It's a fancy little name, but I think we can get it rounded up. 500, please.
Something special.
Hey, Jody, that reminded me, I think on mine I put Mid-County Fire Department, but it's the Mid-County Community Association. Earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the community.
I'll have some.
Now?
Yeah, whenever we'll get back finishing up where we're at. I don't know where we are now. Good?
You can have it.
All right, perfect. $300 to Dry Creek. $1,000 to Keys High School for their senior class, but senior class. That's good.
Anything else?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Speak now or wait till February. Okay, if there's no other additions to community assistance, Rex?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We got a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Law enforcement is next. Sure everybody looked over theirs.
We do have the new money on the report that's actually in the budget mod for this month, but, so you'll be able to start spending that money in February after it's approved through council, but you do have that in the report.
Have a motion, please.
Motion to approve.
A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, roads.
I do have a addition for Redbird Smith Housing Addition for $2,800. And again, same thing there on your motor vehicle tax money. It's on a report, but you can't technically spend it until after it's approved to the February council meeting. So.
Thank you. Junior.
Second, I second.
A motion and a second on the roads. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Sports teams, I think there were 3 new ones.
I make a motion to accept that.
Good job.
Second.
Motion and a second on sports teams. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? One new thing on livestock, and it's mine. Junior, would you get a motion, please?
I make a motion to accept. Second.
A motion and a second on livestock. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, did everybody look over the special projects report also? There were a few new ones on there.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Okay.
You can do the first 8 in total.
Is there any old business? Okay, would you go ahead and make the motion, please? Actually, first.
8.
No, 6.
7
7 and 8 are the budget mods.
Okay, first 6.
Mhm.
I make a motion to move first 6 for passage.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. First 6 are donations, a variety of different donations. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition?
Denise?
Oh, I'm
Man,
sorry.
I'm sorry, Chair Lady. Just put me as a sponsor on them Stillwell buildings, like at Marietta School one. Is that one on there? Or is that
There's a Marietta too, I think.
Yeah, I'd like to sponsor that with Cocaine if I can.
Yeah.
Marietta inside.
Sorry.
Okay, so I don't know if we voted. All those in favor? Any opposition? No. Okay, Keith, would you do the first budget mod? Number 7.
Number what?
7.
Certainly. This is Cap Mod 2. This is an act amending Legislative Act 1419 authorizing the comprehensive capital budget for fiscal year 2020 Mod 2 and declaring an emergency. I put in that form of a motion.
Second.
All those in favor of the budget mod?
Aye.
Any opposition? Number 8, Kanan.
This is an act amending Legislative Act 15-19 authorizing the comprehensive operating budget for fiscal year 2020 Mod 5 and declaring an emergency. I put that in form of a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second on the budget mod. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Next meeting scheduled for Thursday, February 27th at 3. Motion to adjourn, somebody?
Motion.
We're out of here.